Good day, all you beautiful people. What I'm going to do is design a hand for our little Lego man. Now, you may have noticed on the drawings that the dimensions are, should I say, lackluster. And this is actually a very common problem. Sometimes you just want to prototype and not worry about dimensions and get them in later. We do need one dimension, and that's kind of a rough estimate. So the estimate I'm going to work off of is I know that this little hand here for my Lego man is about the same size as my peg up here, which is 4.9. Or if you look at this other drawing, it's 4.8. You know what? I'm just going to use 4.8 and be happy with it. And let us begin. So as always, create new, make a new body. And I want to add a spreadsheet right away. So let's add a spreadsheet. And there's my new spreadsheet button right there. And open up my spreadsheet as well. So now click on here, Windows, Tile. And now I have my spreadsheet open. I'll resize it a little bit here. And now as we're drafting, we can add stuff in here. Hey guys, it's Future Q. I had to cut 10 minutes out of this video. I went a little ham on the spreadsheet part. So if it feels like we're going a little fast at the beginning, don't worry about it. I'll post that into a separate video on Friday. Anyways, I hope you're enjoying the video so far. It's a little longer than I thought it would be, but you know what? It's a good one. Back to you, Pasty. So in fact, let's add a couple things here. So let's go hand, outer, diameter. Now you can put spaces in here if you want, but in an alias you can't have a space. So instead of just clicking on every box to find out what its alias is, I like to make my first box basically the alias name. Always gets me because I forget to hit enter. Next one, hand, inner diameter. Copy that. And make sure you're on the right one. Paste. Hand, inner diameter. We'll add the other ones as we go along. So our outer diameter, I said at the beginning of the video, let's make it 4.8. Our inside diameter, I want to give it a value so that we don't get an error. So I'm just going to make up a number and say 3. We can always go back in there and change it. And you know what? We'll put ourselves a note here. Let's go exclamation mark. Just a shorthand to tell us, hey, change this later. The one that I really like to use is if I ever have a formula, so if I'm adding this cell to this cell and I add it here, I will put a star beside it to remind me that, hey, this alias is an equation. Workbench. We have our body, and of course, let's make a sketch. I want to work on a top plane today. So let's hit top, XY, okay. And wait till we're in the middle. I always like to work in the middle. Our first circle, want to give it a diameter, and of course, function, spreadsheet, hand, outer diameter. Okay, boom, done. All right, that gives us a reference. So we'll go close that up and let's make that into a pad right away. Now, oh, and guess what? We don't have that in there. So let's do that. Let's go hand and we'll call it hand height. And I think if you look at our quick little reference, that is the one dimension that we have. It's 4.4 millimeters. Awesome. So let's copy this guy out. Add it into our alias. Hit enter. 4.4. And you know what? We can of course add, my OCD's kicking in, so let's add millimeters. And now in our jumping back across here into our length, spreadsheet, Hand height. Okay. Okay. Okie dokie. And we got our hand. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to cut a circle in here. And then, of course, put a box there for the grippers. However, let's look at here. You'll notice that a Lego man hand isn't actually straight. It's not a 90-degree offshoot from there. There's actually a little bit of an angle. So I'm not sure what that is, but you know what? Into our spreadsheet it goes. Wrist, angle. And don't double click, throw in alias. Look at that, guys. 2 in a row, did it right. Do you think I'm gonna screw it up the next time, or do you think 3 will be the magic number? Throw it down in the comments. So we want to get the right angle at 20 degrees. The question is, how do we want to do this? Before, if I wanted to do it, make it at a 90-degree angle, I can go to the front view and sketch on a front plane and extrude it out. And the reason I'm working on a wrist first is, even if I have some bit in here, once I make the hole in there for the hand, it will just cut it out. So I'm not too worried about that. But I need to make an angle. And in order to make that angle, let's go back to the front. I am going to need what's called a datum plane. Go to origins, and my front plane right here, Z, X. So if I go to my ZX right here, and then tell it to create the datum plane, it will create it right there and already filled in plane face ZX. So let's turn this around a little bit. And what I want to do is create that angle. So you can see that I can actually move the plane in a direction, but the directions won't correspond to this. So let's try to move it this way. And let's try the first one, X. Nope, that's not the one. Y, that's not the one. And it was Z. See, Z will now make it shift. Now the funny thing is, if you follow these right here, that should be the X plane. So when you attach your datum plane, it actually creates its own coordinate system, and that's what might confuse you, because now we're moving it within its own coordinate system, not within the global coordinate system. Wish there was a button here to use global coordinate system. So I'll set this back to 0. And now we want to flip it around axis to get our 20 degrees. I'm looking at it from the left, so I want it flipped. Let's try this one. Oh, and guess what? We're correct. But if you notice, it's flipping at -6 to get, that's the angle I want. But I think if I go flip sides, now I have to go +6 to get it tilted. So now it's tilting in a direction I want. So if it's going backwards, try hitting that button. And guess what we're going to do here? Spreadsheet.wrist angle. Okay. And you could actually see in your preview when you typed it in, that it'll give you a number. And that's the number I want. Beautiful. That's great. So if I select this plane, and then I go to sketch, guess what? I can now sketch on this plane. So we'll put our circle in. And of course, see how it's all in the background again? Our magic button here for one editing mode, switch between active and full view. Switch to the active view. Cuts it out, lets us see. It's a beautiful thing. And again, I can take this guy. Let's take this guy here, and let's apply him. I wish I could select one and then do my other part of the command, and we'll apply him here. And now we can even give him a constraint. So we'll leave it, and I'll just leave it at that for now. And of course, if you remember from our previous tutorial, when we sketched on a surface, what happened is our origins shifted. But here, it doesn't. I wonder if it's just the angle or if the datum plane is smart enough to figure it out. Either way, you know what? Happy accident. But now I want this diameter, so I'm going to create one. Wrist diameter. Copy. Paste. Enter. Oh, 3 in a row, guys. That's a personal record. Please don't make fun. So we need a dimension here. And you know what? I'm not quite sure. So maybe I'll make it, I don't know, 3 millimeters. I just have something there. And we're gonna need a wrist length. Get the alias in here, and I just lost my winning streak there, guys. I wonder if I'll get to 3 again. Wrist length. All right, make that. And you know what? Theoretical, let's go 2 millimeters. So now I got everything I need here. One more. We're bound here, but we don't have the height. If you notice on our little Lego man, let's see if I still have this here. It doesn't start at the top or in the middle. It starts closer to the bottom. And we kind of want to replicate that. So let's make this a smart formula. So we'll go wrist height. Remember my R. Add it in here. And look at what I just did. I just referenced that to the wrong thing. So you can, of course, click on here. Another way to set these is if you click here and you go to properties, you can click on alias. And I'll even add a T. Copy. Click here. Paste. Enter. We got it here. So wrist height. And you know what? Let's say we want it to start at the bottom. So we'll actually do a formula. So we'll say that the wrist height is the wrist diameter, which is equal to cell B7 divided by 2. And you know what? Let's make it slightly higher, and we'll add 0.1 mm just for a fudge factor. So now that we have all that boring stuff in, let's update our sketch here. Let's give us our diameter. So we'll add spreadsheet wrist diameter. Okay. And now we'll add our height in. Double click here. Spreadsheet wrist height. And of course you can already see this should be 1.6, 1.6. Click OK. So now we're right here. And of course, we can close this drawing off. Now that we're here, we can, of course, now take this sketch and make a pocket. And look at that, guys. See this? We've just made this as an offset. Isn't that beautiful? And of course, we have a length here. So spreadsheet dot, and I believe it's wrist length. Go OK, and look, that's not long enough. So you know what? Very simple solution. Click that OK. So let's go. Let's increase our wrist length. Let's say 4 millimeters. And see how this is coming down at the bottom? Kind of don't want that. It's probably because our height isn't big enough, right? So wrist height, we got that. Let's add 1 millimeter to it. Oh, and look at that. Now we're closer up like that. And you know what? Maybe we can play with it. Let's go 0.9. That's, you know, we're getting even closer, and we can go 0.8. Anyways, we can play with it, and look at that. At 0.8, we are almost there. Remember what I said of formulas? Whenever I have a formula, I'll put an X, a star here, just to remind me that's driven by another dimension, so that if I ever delete something and all of a sudden I see things breaking, I know where formulas could exist. Anyways, if you're fancy and you wanted to do the trig math to figure this out so that it comes out perfectly at the bottom, good on you. I'm more of a let's fudge the numbers till it works type of guy. So now we can click on here. We can click our sketch. And in our sketch, you know what I just want to do? Figure out, throw it on here. Now, I'm not going to bother centering this up. You know what? Maybe I'll leave this for you guys to figure out. And the reason is because I did not think of this when I was making this tutorial, and I'll go back and I'll tweak it and I'll make this all nice and I'll do a really quick follow-up to it. But today, it's a little too much to figure out. My brain's not working. It's way too hot, boys and girls. So now, if we have our guy here, of course we want to give it some dimensions. So let's go arm, diameter, and arm length. And you know what? Let's add an arm offset height. It's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it, right? Paste, enter, copy here, paste, enter, copy here, paste, click. I'm not doing this on purpose. I really wish I could tell you I was. But how much was that? Was that 3 or 4? If you've been counting, put it in the comments. I'd like to know whether I broken my record of 3. I'm super excited if I did. All right, so let's move on here. Let's go back. We're in this guy here. Let's click up here and we'll add our diameter. So again, spreadsheet, arm diameter. Okay, okay. And now that we close it, we can now do a pad. And if I click 10, I'm having a problem with my sketch. Let's see what my problem is. Invalid type. And why are we getting invalid type, you might ask? Because some dummy did not add dimensions to this. So let's go to 2.26. Give it a diameter, make it happy. And you know what? Let's give it a length too. The length will be something stupid like 6 millimeters. And the offset, you know what? Let's give it a 0 millimeters just to have something there. And we can go close. And now the sketch looks happier. Can we pad it out? Yes, we can. Straight. Spreadsheet dot arm length without the G, because I spelt it wrong, but the show must go on. Anyways, I hope you spell it right in yours, guys. Don't make fun of the dummy. And now that we're done that, look, we just got 2 little things left. And you know what? Let's build our hand. So we're on top. Click here. And let's do this for our cutout. Let's add it here. Or I don't want to add it here because I don't want to scroll over. So let's go hand. No, actually we already got a hand in our diameter. You guys are probably screaming at me going, no dummy, look up, look up. That's the problem with dummies. They never look. So let's go here. We'll draw ourselves a sketch. And let's draw our circle. I'll draw our circle up here. And I'll give it a diameter, right? Like always. And we'll go, and you can't type it in here. Spreadsheet. Hand inner diameter. Click OK. In. And we're okay. Close. And of course, we can now turn this into a pocket. So create a pocket, and we can either give it a direction and a length. I mean, I could give it the hand height, but you know what? I'm just going to cheat. I'm just going to choose to first. And it's going to make it so that it goes to the top of the first surface that it sees. So this is the most effective way. click on top view again, and we're gonna add another sketch. Let's add the sketch on top of this one as well, and we'll go on top, and we will go, I want to force it to here and go. So now we got our constraint to this guy right here, and you know what, I want to make it equal distant, so that's my favorite command. Click, 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 and of course we want to go symmetric. Click here, and now we're dead center. The height, oh, I do that all the time, don't I? By the way, I am using a new mic, so please comment if this mic works better. I noticed there was some popping on the other one, and I don't want to put you people through that. And what I mean by you people is, of course, you sexy people. Was that a nice save? Or did you guys not buy it? I love you. All right, so length here. You know what? We're just going to cheat. We already have a dimension. It's the outer, it's basically our outer diameter. We'll just add an offset of 0.2 millimeters, just to be sure. Okay. And of course, it makes it way too long because somebody forgot to divide by 2. I don't know who that guy is, but he causes me problems. Oh, and he hits escape on me. You know, I wish I had a cat or something, and I can at least blame that the cat's playing with the buttons instead of just, you guys know it's me. So we got this dimension here, and you know what? Let's do that here as well. And I don't have a diameter for this, but you know what? Let's give it one. So let's go hand, grip, and you know what? I'm just going to call it offset. Copy here. Paste it there. Hit enter, hit enter, hit enter. Oh, yeah. And my offset, I'll just make it, let's go, I could give it a negative offset too, I believe. So if I go minus 0.4 millimeters. What if I give it an equal sign here? Oh, I made it an equal sign and it worked. So now it took it. Spreadsheet, hand inner diameter plus spreadsheet, hand grip offset, okay, and go okay. And there you go. So now we have a gripper there, close, and now of course we want this to be a pocket. Make it a pocket. We could give it a dimension. As I said, let's go up to first, hit OK. Well, look at this, nothing found in this direction. What does that mean? Sometimes you just have to reverse it. Face not found in that direction. Interesting. Which direction are we going into? Did we sketch this on a wrong plane, on the wrong side? So let's just go, and you know what? In this case, let's just go through all. Or we can give it a dimension. So let's give it a dimension. Spreadsheet. And of course, we have our hand height. Hand height. Click OK. So now no matter how much we change our hand, it will do that. And look at that. We have our little Lego man hand here. Right? We are done. What do you mean we're not done? You even want that fancy transfer here? Oh no. You're probably just, you got the solution already. I know it. You guys are smart cookies here. And you're going to be way better off than this. And you're going to invent something that will save the world. And if that ever happens, you know what? Just give me a virtual fist bump. That's all I ask. This is not a legal binding contract. Just saying. All right. Enough stalling. Let's make our, let's make a new sketch. That's the plane I want it on. Okay. And of course, we can just do something as simple as we'll make a box. So we'll have to make a box from here to here I'll draw another line from here up to, let's say, here. I'm happy with that. And now, of course, I could just make an arch to fill that in. Take this out, and you know what? Let's go back in here. Sometimes you just have to figure stuff out, right? Things don't go as intended, and you know what? That's sometimes the part of it, part of the fun. So I'll go hand height, Control C, and we'll go okay on that one. And of course, I forgot to divide by 2. Man, I should almost put that on a t-shirt. Crap, I forgot to divide by 2. But of course, if you're counting how many drinks you wanted at the bar, you wouldn't really want to divide by 2 now, would you? All right, so we're gonna select that here. And you know what? Let's select another one. We're gonna do the height. And I'm gonna copy and paste it so that it goes well. And you know what? And now I have 2, and I'm gonna add a construction line. Our good friends construction lines are brought back. Construction lines are brought to you by FreeCAD. Go here. Of course, I want to see inside what's going on, make it all happy. And I'm gonna give my construction lane the same height. And I know you guys know where I'm going. And I'm hoping you're miles ahead of me on whether this will work or not. And now, and I hope you're not hitting escape. I'm gonna put like a tack on that escape key so I don't hit it accidentally. Maybe that will learn me. Okay, click that, and let's go back to normal, and let's use our arch command. So arch command is, why am I not seeing it? Is it right here? Oh, it's no, come on guys, there it is. So first thing, I want to go from here to here to here, and now we're happy. Okay, so now let's of course do a cut. We'll go symmetric to plane, and we want to give it a dimension, so we'll of course give it the same dimension as Spreadsheet hand diameter, outer diameter. And of course we can even add, just to make sure, +1 millimeter. And there you go guys, we're done. Hopefully that didn't take too long, but look how beautiful that looks. I like it. And you know what? We can measure these up because these were actually what I just threw in there. And I'll measure these up on my Lego model here. And I'll make a quick follow-up video. I'll release it Friday. 2-minute video saying these are what our numbers are. These are what our numbers are. We'll change the numbers dynamically and see if it breaks our model or not. And in the meantime, if you guys can figure out that fancy equation for making sure this guy's always at the bottom, it would be awesome. Anyways, guys, that's all. Like the video if you learned something new, and I appreciate your time. And as always, guys, stay smart, stay safe. Squeak goes the chair.